This is a very basic video covering a soccer field or the pitch. To best provide an overview of a soccer pitch, I'll be addressing field sizes, field markings, and locations or areas on the pitch. It's important to recognize the different field sizes depending on the age or format of play. For U8 to U10 soccer, most organizations will play 7v7 soccer. Although field sizes may vary some, a 7v7 soccer pitch is generally 60 yards in length by 40 yards in width. With the smaller field size, there are also reductions in other dimensions. For instance, free kicks now require only 8 yards of separation distance to the nearest opponent, and both the penalty area and the goal areas are reduced proportionally. This next slide shows a 9v9 pitch with more players on the field, and now we're jumping up to a U11 to U12 age group. The field size increases to 75 yards in length by 50 yards in width. As with the case in the 7v7 soccer pitch, free kicks again require only 8 yards of separation distance to the nearest opponent, but now you can see the penalty area and the goal area increasing slightly. This slide shows an 11v11 pitch, or a full-size pitch. For 11-a-side soccer, we're now dealing with the largest range in field sizes. While we commonly see 110 yards in length by 75 yards in width soccer fields, many fields can be much smaller. There are some constants though. A soccer pitch should always be rectangular in shape, and the dimensions for the center circle, penalty area, and goal area should always be the same size. We're now going to be covering field markings. On the previous slide, you noticed some familiar field markings. Just so that I'm being thorough about field markings, here is a somewhat blank slide. Granted, this image looks like a soccer field, but there are a few missing field markings. Can you identify what's missing? There are a few things identified here which may be new to you, or maybe you've seen these markings before but had no idea what purpose they served. One, here is the technical area. This is an area where a coach can provide instructions to his or her team. The team bench dugout is located behind this area. Second, here is a small marking located off the field. This marking designates the 10-yard radius from the field corner. An opponent must provide 10 yards of distance from a corner kick. Since corner kicks are relatively common, it's good to have this mark in place so that the referee doesn't need to march off 10 yards before each corner kick. You also need to understand this mark signifies the radius of the 10-yard buffer. Here is an image showing half a soccer field. I've highlighted in yellow the penalty area. The penalty area represents the area where 1, a goalkeeper can use her hands without penalty, and 2, a foul by the defending team will result in a penalty kick. This information isn't anything new for most of you, but there are 2 important things that I want to make sure that we're clear about. 1, the only reason why the penalty arc exists is to identify a 10-yard radius around the spot kick location. If a foul occurs in the penalty arc, it does not result in a penalty kick. The second thing I want to point out is the penalty area itself. On this image, what is the significance of the white paint? Here's what I want to be clear about. The white paint is part of the penalty area. If a foul occurs on the white paint, the result is a penalty kick. We need to remember that the location of the ball represents the location where the foul occurs. To be clear, if a foul occurs inside of the penalty arc or on the white line for the penalty arc, it does not mean that the opponent gets a penalty kick. These next few slides are just going to be questions about whether or not you know the names of the field markings on a soccer pitch. This is called the center circle. Similar to the penalty arc, the center circle is meant to keep the defending team 10 yards from the ball on a kickoff. The defending team cannot enter the center circle until after the ball is first played by the attacking team. The ref blows their whistle, which signifies the ball is ready for play. The ref's whistle does not mean that the defending team can enter the center circle. They have to wait until the attacking team puts the ball in play. This next part of the video is going to cover areas of the pitch, and we're going to be specifically talking about thirds and channels. For these next few slides, our reference point is going to be the goal that I've circled here in red. We've divided the field into 3 equal thirds. The third that I actually have highlighted here in a darker green is the defensive third, or the third which is closest to the goal that we are protecting. And here is the middle third of the pitch. Again, for this slide, I've highlighted the goal in red that we are attacking. So the area that I've highlighted here in the darker green is what we refer to as the attacking third. Now we're going to be looking at the field from a vertical standpoint. What I have highlighted here in dark green is the left channel of the field. And obviously the right side of the pitch would be considered to be the right channel. And lastly, here's the central channel. So when you hear your coach yell, change the channel, hopefully it's clear that they are looking for the ball to be moved from one channel to another channel, as the opponent is likely well organized in the channel that you are currently in. The area highlighted in dark green is probably something new for you. This is called the half space. I'm not going to cover the significance of the half space in this video, but it's going to be important when we refer to it later on that you understand where the half space is. For this next slide, I've rotated the field 90 degrees. So we are actually attacking to the right. We have the pitch. It's been divided into 3 channels, and now there are 6 lines of field depth. I've highlighted zone 14 because it may be occasionally referenced for its significance. Many coaches will refer to zone 14 as the golden square, as if you have more connected forward passes from zone 14 than your opponent, then you are likely to experience more quality goal scoring opportunities. Coaches want their teams to be successful in zone 14. Have more possession in zone 14, be successful with connecting passes from zone 14, make runs into zone 14. You get the idea as why I'm showing you something about zone 14. Lastly, for me, this is a match strategy item. Although we want to play full go, high pressure soccer, there are going to be moments when we should consider conserving our energy. So as much as we want to understand the importance of affecting our opponents by putting them under constant pressure, we should also be mindful of setting a line of confrontation. A line of confrontation is a line which we've set. To avoid being too precise, it's roughly an area that we've identified. In essence, we'll let our opponents build up their attack in their defensive third. We will put all 11 of our players behind the line of confrontation. And when our opponents look to cross this invisible line, we will engage in defending. But to be clear, there is no paint marking to delineate exactly where the line of confrontation is. It's completely subjective for each team, and it can vary from match to match. So for these next few slides, we're going to make sure that we are absolutely clear that we understand when the ball is in play and when it is out of play. Here is an image which shows 4 different scenarios. I've labeled 4 soccer balls, A, B, C, D. It should be noted that the field of play is located to the left, and the white line can be interpreted as either being the touch line or the goal line. For this case, it's not important to distinguish between the touch line or goal line. We just need to understand that the white field marking is the perimeter of the pitch. So clearly, ball A is in play. So the next one's a little bit more challenging. Ball B is touching the touch line. Is it in play or is it out of play? And here, ball C is touching the touch line, but is also touching the play which is outside of the touch line. Is it in play or is it out of play? And lastly, ball D. Every part of the ball is out of the field of play, therefore it is also out of play. If any part of the ball is touching or vertically over, better known as shadowing, the touch line or the goal line, then it is in play. The entirety of the ball needs to be outside of the field marking for it to be out of play. I've seen too many mistakes about whether the ball is in play or out of play. Rewatch this part of this video just to make sure that you absolutely thoroughly understand when the ball is in play and when it is out of play. On a soccer pitch, corner flags are required. So what happens if the ball hits the corner flag? Is it in play or is it out of play? If the ball hits the corner flag and stays in the field of play, then it remains in play and play should continue. It's treated the same way as if the ball hits the post or crossbar and ricochets back onto the field of play. You keep playing. In soccer, in order for a goal to be scored, the ball has to cross underneath the crossbar, in between the posts, and entirely across the goal line. So now, let's just make sure we check this versus actual illustrations and see if we can determine if a goal has been scored or if the ball should remain in play. In this picture, the ball has hit the post and it is now hovering above the goal line. Is it a goal or should play continue? Here, the soccer ball is in between the posts and is on the goal line. Is it a goal or should play continue? And here, the soccer ball is between the posts. It is now touching the grass behind the goal line. It actually looks like it's touching the net in the goal. Is it a goal or no goal? So again, the reason why this is no goal is because the entirety of the soccer ball has to be entirely across the goal line in between the posts and under the crossbar in order for it to be a goal. Here you can see that part of the soccer ball shadows over the goal line. Therefore, it is no goal. Here is a short video clip of my son's team from last year's Crossfire Challenge. We're attacking the goal. We're the team in red. And as you can see, the fouls occurred inside of the penalty area. The referee blows the whistle and signifies there's a foul, but he has a question about where the foul occurred. The problem is that our players don't understand the rules with regards to penalty kicks. Therefore, we take the decision out of the ref's hands and we get a free kick instead of a penalty kick. That concludes this video about the pitch. Many of the items covered in this video are probably well known, but some other of the information may not be. I think that's important for all your teammates to completely understand this information. So if 20 of you are watching this video, and let's say that 10 of you knew everything, 5 of you learned a few new things, 4 of you learned only 1 or 2 new things, and 1 of you learned a lot, then I would say that this video was beneficial to you all. If it helps you or one of your teammates, then ultimately it helps our entire team.